Baker advances. Sabrina Sutherland of Oregon advances. Ashley Taylor of NAU advances. And there you see the whole list. Avital Wilson Pertiti of UNLV. That first heat, Kevin, yielded the fastest times with Wilson Pertiti and Henderson running 2:06 low. And you get a look at all the qualifiers there. Susan Ajori of Oregon does get through. Remember, she was in a very close battle with Katie Faust of Utah for that last auto. Ajori came up short, but does qualify on time. So Oregon gets 2 there.
And look at the gap. I mean, it's 2.5 seconds roughly. You know, inside of 2.6 seconds separates the field.
Men's 10,000 now on the track, and this one, it's pretty cut and dry, Kevin. 48 down to 12.
Yeah, and there's a lot of players. You know, there's a lot of guys in this race that we have seen time and time again, both on the cross country course, indoors, on top teams. So, and it starts with NAU. Tyler Day, current NCAA leader. He's run 13:40. He was 3rd in cross country. His teammate Matthew Baxter, number 3 in the NCAA. So the top 2 from NAU. And then sandwiched in between them is Connor Mcmillan, the junior from BYU. So number 1, 2, and 3 time-wise in the NCAA are in this race. Mcmillan's also run 13:38. He ran that at Mount Sac. The 10K times come from Peyton Jordan.
And as I mentioned before, these are, with the exception of the wind, these are Peyton Jordan-like conditions. Not that anybody's going to be gunning for a fast time, but for a preliminary round meet at the end of May, this is as good a distance running weather as I think you could hope for. And I think kind of helps the favorites, you know, the people who've run fast in good conditions early in the year, fewer surprises. You don't have to worry about managing the heat. This is more like the weather that you've had in the earlier part of the season, or even cross-country season for that matter. Not that Day or Baxter need any help.
Right. And I should say that BYU also comes in, you know, very strong. So Clayton Young and Rory Linkletter, I mean, both outstanding guys. Linkletter ran 13:38 or 13:37 earlier this season. So BYU and NAU, Young ran 28:27 at the Stanford Invitational. So obviously the top times are coming from Stanford Invite or Peyton Jordan. And Clayton Young came back at Peyton Jordan and ran 13:37. So you know, these 10K guys have been strong all year. It's the players at a high level every time these guys line it up. Gerald Mock and Grant Fisher, the 2 seniors from Colorado State in the field. Emmanuel Rudolph Levesey, the sophomore from Portland. Andrew Johnston, Air Force Academy. Connor Mance, another BYU guy. So that's 4 BYU guys in the top 10 time-wise coming into the field, all under 29 minutes. Dylan Maggart, Utah State. So we are clearly in one part of the country here. Arizona, BYU, Colorado State, Utah State, you know, so Robert Brandt transferred from Cal, originally went to Loyola where David Torrance went, have had a strong distance running tradition. Lalo Diaz is the coach down there, and Robert Brandt follows in that tradition, transferred from Cal. Now he's a junior at UCLA. He was 2nd or 3rd. I'll have to look at the Pac-12 meet in the 10K. So he just ran a 10K last Friday night. So 6 days. Am I saying that right? 6 days ago?
6 days ago, yep.
So he's out here again tonight.
Mike Tate of Southern Utah as well, All-American indoors. And we had a fall there early on. Looks like hip 34.
San Jose State, Jose Pina. So they'll line him back up.
Trying to get a look at the other runner.
Looks like everybody's okay. That's the key. You just don't want something silly to happen to somebody.
Yeah.
Everybody's moving around. Okay. Pina's resetting himself just behind the start line.
Looks like that might have been Matt Young of Arkansas, who also went down.
Travis Newman, the senior from Oregon, in the field.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
So pretty good pile up there.
And
considering it was a 10K, a pretty aggressive start.
Yeah, body's flying.
Try this one again. I mean, 48 people on the track is going to take a little while to sort out. We got the double waterfall start here. The top 16 seeds are on the front row. And we'll see if we can get this going cleanly this time, as they'll make a break after 100 meters. And then I am curious though, Kevin, with the weather this pleasant temperature-wise, what impact that has on the race.
Well, I mean, everybody's got to be ready, right? When it's hot and people are dreading the start, even if they say they're not, I mean, this is, I mean, it's not going to go real fast, but if somebody wants to run, they're going to go, right? And then that means everybody else has to do it. So, I mean, you don't come in expecting Peyton Jordan, because you know that's not going to happen. But at the same time, better be ready to run in the last 2 miles. I think that's the way you look at it, is you have to be in position to run in the last 2 miles, because there are 20 guys that can make it.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
I mean, easy 20 to 25 guys that think they're going on.
Yeah.
And the reality is, they're not. You know, I talked to Mark Conover, the head coach at Cal Poly, one time, 71 first lap, and he described the NCAA cross country race as this: 100 guys think they're going to be All-American when that race starts, and it's this type of thing, right? There's 48 guys here. There's 40 that think they're going to the next week, or something like that.
It might be 48.
Yeah,
it might be 48.
I mean, why not, right? Yeah. So, well, look, okay.
Mike Tate of Southern Utah looking around, having a conversation. If that gives you any indication of the pace, that's Gilbert Boyd of Arkansas on the inside. Behind him, or to his right, excuse me, in the white, that's Dylan Maggard, and then Tate to his outside. But they're running all the way into lane 4. I mean, this looks like a cross-country race.
So the slowest seed is Jack Keelan from Stanford. He's a sub-4 miler, and he won the Pac-12 meet, and he's run 13:40 or something. And so he was an All-American in cross country. So maybe you're right. All these guys think they're advancing, and because I know Jack Keelan is. I mean, he's an All-American.
Right.
So he's not, and this is not this. He was not raised on this distance, right? And I can see Jack Keelan is sitting about 10th from last, blonde hair, and the Stanford dark gray black top. So now they really slowed down. They ran about an 80, so that was 2:32. So that was incredibly slow.
Yeah, and I could see, we brought it up in the 1500s. If you're a favorite, why wait? I think it's even more pronounced in a race like this. If you are someone who's seeded, or someone who legitimately is in spots 5 through 15, you want it. This is a 10,000. You want to make it a 10,000 meter race, and if the weather is not going to be a dissuading factor, go out and run hard and make a move. Even some of the favorites here, you wouldn't want it to go on like this for too long, because then you're turning a 10,000 race into a 3,000 or even something shorter. So I think eventually, sooner rather than later, we'll see some of the favorites move to the front, because in conditions like this, this isn't a conference meet where you're you need to get top 12, and you're only, most of these people are, if they qualify here, they're on and done. They're not going to be doubling back and worrying too much about the 5,000. But
so part of me says there's too many guys in the field, but then I look at the Jack Keelan piece where he ran to win at his conference meet. He makes it to this. He's run 7:51 for 3K.
Right.
And now we're at 3:52 at 1,200. None of these guys have run a 3:52, 1,200 on the track this track season. This is their first one.
Yeah.
Running that slow. But at the same time, I do see the need to have this many, as this is a little absurd as we watch. But at the same time, it makes sense because all 48 guys each of the 48 guys has the opportunity to make it, or has the ability. The opportunity is there because they were on the starting line, but they have the ability. You see the 2 from Colorado State on the outside, and 2 from Portland.
And for UCLA, it looks like they're going to have 2 up at the front here. Robert Brandt right now at the lead, and that looks like Miles Smith also up there. So Bruins at the front of this field. But you mentioned Day and Baxter before. In the gold for NAU on the outside right there, you can see Tyler Day with the bouncing hair about mid-pack. And Baxter's just behind him. Remember, the NCAA championships, they went to the front early on and set a very ambitious pace that only Justin Knight could run with.
5:08 through 1,600 meters. So just to run through a couple more names here. Tanner Anderson from Oregon. Benjamin Priestner from Tulsa. Austin Dahlquist from Arkansas. We've seen Arkansas jerseys up front early. Mike Tate, you mentioned. Travis Newman, the veteran from Oregon. Jack Rowe, who's run very well for University of San Francisco this year. Sam Wharton, the senior from Stanford. Gilbert Boyd from Arkansas. And Boyd's running in about 12th or 15th place right now. Mickey Davey from Air Force. Nick Hauer from Portland. And you can see the 2 from Portland are running together. Now NAU starting to move themselves, take 1,600 meters, run out in lane 3, and then now it's time to become a little more efficient, get your nose in the game a bit more. You can see 3 from Arkansas are now in the top 15 as well. So in addition to the 2 from UCLA that are up front, you said Miles Smith and Robert Brandt. That's Brandt who's leading at 6:18 through 2K. So that lap was a little bit faster. So Ben Alcock from University of San Francisco also in the race. Matt Young, the freshman from Arkansas. So the 2 Bruins, Miles Smith and Robert Brandt. And
so 2 runners from UCLA up front, then it's Tate. And it looks like in 3rd there is that Emmanuel Rudolph Levesse.
Southern Utah.
From Portland. There's a lot of Portland presence
up
there as well, too.
He's running in 4th or 5th. And you can't sleep on Robert Brandt, who's now in 2nd. He's run 13:45. And I think he's had a couple of good cross-country placings, too.
And we're getting the next split, so this is 19 to go, excuse me. We'll get, the last lap was a 65, so they went from a 76 to a 65. Let's see what this split is when we get it all. Let you know. One factor that we didn't discuss about why you wouldn't want to run a full 10,000, why you wouldn't go too hard, is they have to do it again in 2 weeks. And if you are a favorite, perhaps you want to keep your powder dry in any way you can, so that way you don't have to risk doing 2 hard 10,000s.
And some are doubling here this week. So there's a number of factors that go into this.
So at the front, continuing to lead for UCLA, it's Brandt, the junior, followed by Smith. And then we have Tate on the outside. And then Emmanuel Rudolph Levesse of Portland. Dylan Maggard behind him. Then Day on the inside in the gold top. Baxter to his outside. And then Linklater of BYU. And he's next to his teammate, it looks like, or perhaps it's running for Portland. Yeah, it is Portland, excuse me. Heavy Portland, NAU, and BYU presence in here. You mentioned Arkansas too.
I saw Connor Weaver from BYU on the outside, you know, BYU with 5 in the race or more.
Yeah.
BYU was 7 in the race.
Pretty much everybody together here. Still, everybody has a opportunity to get to the front, and I don't know how long that will last, but at least at the moment, they're running efficiently and they're running a pace that's honest.
So 9:49 at 3,200 meters.
17 to go on the clock, it says, and on our screen. Tate running comfortably there in third. And Maggard in fifth. Remember, 12 is the magic number. Don't need to worry about times. 12, you're in. 13, you're out. It's as simple as that.
And sure enough, many of our main players are starting to get themselves into position.
Yeah, so the 12 qualifiers out east, which took place a couple hours ago in Tampa. Vincent Kiprop, Lawrence Kipkoech, Ben Flanagan, Jacob Thompson, Arsene Gilliol, Colin Benny, Nahom Solomon, Alfred Chalanga, Gilbert Keegan, Jonathan Green, Frank Laura, and Michael Crozier. And interestingly enough, there's a 9-second gap between Crozier and Kerwa out east. So probably a little bit of breakaway, and then they shut it down.
And that's that, similar to what we've seen previously, that's that clean qualifying, right?
Yeah.
No drama. Just break it open and stay there.
Not much has changed up front. Only 2 runners have dropped off the pack. About 46 runners still in contact. If you're towards the back end of the pack and you're confident, you don't mind being about 20, 30 meters back of the lead. You can probably see and know, okay, when a move comes, I need to cover that. But until then, I'm fine with my position on the rail.
And so far, just a couple of guys are off the group. So basically everybody is still there. 45 or 46 guys are part of this group that is about 30 meters long. So now Brandt back to the front for the Bruins. So Robert Brandt down the backstretch.
And some farther back the pack are running 2-3 wide, but in general, Kevin, they're staying pretty close to the rail, not bunching up too much. I guess that indicates that the pace is quick enough to string it out. Just as I say that, it clumps there a little bit in the middle. And you wonder with the UCLA runners, how much longer are they going to keep this pace? And if they don't, the next guy in line, Mike Tate, I mean, he's one of the big names in this event. Is he going to be willing to take on the pace for everybody?
Yeah, and I would say probably. And I don't see the NAU guys having any interest in the front. They can just run together right there in 4th and 5th place.
Right.
And now you can see UCLA switching the lead back and forth, which I think is fantastic. Go play your own game. Don't get stuck on the outside in lane 2.
Yeah.
Like I can see Keelan running in the back third of the race.
You say Day and Baxter don't have any interest in the lead, and that's exactly what they did at that NCAA cross. So
right.
They're comfortable in both methods, and their confidence has perhaps only grown since that meet. I mean, they look good right now and confident. Just a matter of time. How long do you wait? So
we're a lap away from 5,000 meters, and that was 13:50s. So this is an incredibly slow pace, but yet it is strung out, and And that's what you get in mid to late May. I mean, not everybody's at 100%, even at 15-minute pace.
Mm-hmm. That's Boyd in the red of Arkansas moving into 4th. Saw him earlier. And this will be 13 to go. So Kevin mentioned the next time we hit the 200-meter mark, it will be the 5,000-meter split.
So Boyd ran 13:50 at Brian Clay and then 29:13 at Stanford. So, I mean, Brandt's got the qualifications. You know, he's run 13:45. Like, now we're coming into 5K, 15:02.3, 15:03.
Manageable pace. Brent, he does have the credentials, but the question is, this is a lot of leading, and this isn't just leading. Yeah. This isn't just leading for a 1500 or an a second or an 800. This is a real serious amount of leading that he's going to be tasked with, and he looks strong and comfortable still, as he should, going out at 15-minute pace, and that's well within what he's capable of. But when the pace does speed up, and one of these runners from the pack behind him does decide to go.
Yeah, I mean, there's name after name after name stacked up right behind him.
Right,
just,
yes.
Just gathering energy with each step.
Exactly, and even, you know, beyond the names we mentioned, farther back in the pack, there's runners there who are extremely credentialed who, with one move, can kind of erase any gap and get up to the front.
And I would say the people that I think about that could do that is basically anybody that's run under 29 minutes. Mm-hmm. that could or somebody who hasn't really run a fast 10K this year. You know, I look at guys like Gerald Mock, he's much better than 28:46, you know, or Grant Fisher. So these guys are ready to strike. And I think the thing to do, and I could see this out of the NAU guys, is, you know, with 2 miles to go, throw in a hard 1,200 meters and just get away.
Yeah.
So,
or you could see something similar to BYU, like as a group they decide to go, and then NAU goes with them, or ditto with Portland, right?
With 2K to go hard for 800, you know, or something like that. Get your distance, look around, check the video board, see where you are, and you know, make sure you're in the top 10.
Exactly. So at the front, it's still Brandt, followed by Tate, Maggard, Day, Baxter. That's the top 5. And then Clayton Young of BYU, Gilbert Boyd of Arkansas, Linklater in there as well, as is Connor Mance, the freshman from BYU. Looks like he's in there.
2:17 for the last 800. So it's starting to become something.
Yeah, we see more people dropping off, and it's almost, you know, except for this portion of the pack that you're seeing there about in 10th, it's pretty much single file at this point. And with every lap, more and more runners are falling out of contention. The issue, though, is there's still 20 people, 25 people alive for 12 spots.
I was just going to suggest about 25, but yeah, somewhere in that range. And you can see there, like, all of those guys right there, it starts to tail off just a little bit, but I would say everybody in that shot right there has a chance to move on.
Oh, absolutely.
A very legit chance with 10 laps to go.
Yeah, we still have 2.5 miles
sure
to run, but Brandt now opening up a little gap here. Tate now almost doing leading himself because there's such a gap between him and Brandt. I don't think he wants that, so perhaps he'll try to bridge that.
So Tate's run 13:34. Didn't have a great Peyton Jordan. The 13 ran 13:37 indoors. Had a great double at Husky. Ran 13:37 and then 7:51 the next day. So, and not a great cross country NCAA championships, but Tate's right there.
9 to go.
And now I think you have to start to think about Brandt just a little bit. You know, I mean, the win doesn't matter here, but he's good enough to go run, you know, 14:30 after that first 15-minute 5K or 15:03 5K. And, you know, so this most recent mile is 4:36.
Yeah.
So, he just ran 4:36 for his last mile. So he's running 68, 69s, and he can keep that up for another 9 laps.
Well, his lead is growing right now.
Maybe I'll talk about him more, and he'll lead by more. You know.
Well, this is almost a lead you'd expect to see from the gun, except the difference was he almost did it, and then the lead would go away.
Yes.
The opposite happened. He was really close, and then now he just effortlessly stretched out.
Look at that group. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Kevin, but that group was strung out when we talked about him 800 meters ago, and now the group, and you can see the group right here, it is starting to bunch up. It's almost like it's staging itself, you know, for a move here. So and that's 20 guys in a group.
So 8 to go, 3,200 meters, and Brandt is accelerating away.
And that most recent shot gave you a chance to see, okay, what is everybody else doing? Yeah, this is awesome. So you see the screen on screen here. You see Brandt. Brandt's got a 35, 40 meter lead, and could very well be. I'm not going to say that yet. I was going to say running away with it, but he's not running away with it yet. Just this group's 5 seconds behind him, and he looks pretty comfortable.
Well, the only issue for Brandt here is the group behind him is now completely coalesced, and they're going to be working together, and there's more than 12 in that chase pack, and it seems like when one goes by, all of them will go by.
Yes. But that is totally, that is very reasonable. And I see a little bit of pushing in the group. It's somebody needs, and maybe that's happening as that Linkletter right now that's about to move from BYU. Now here's our first real move to go get Brandt, and that's going to string out the pack, Kevin. And this is the difference right here. This move, because see that space that's already occurring. Now who can go with Linkletter and chase him down? And as we keep wide on that group, you'll see people tailing off. I can see it right now.
Yeah. The lead, though, still for Brandt is, what would you say, about 50 meters?
Yeah, pretty close to 50.
I mean, it's still a considerable lead, and when we get to the finish line, we'll be at 6 to go. Now, that lead can disappear quickly, but that second group is putting in effort right now. And perhaps the favorites in there are like, we don't care about this guy. We're going to race for 11 spots here. And now we're going to let you go, and we're just going to race for 11 spots.
He's got 7 seconds on the group. So but look at this. I don't see a lot of hard running here. Like, how hard are these guys going? Well, I guess they're running a 67.
I mean,
right?
It looked like Linkletter was committed. You don't go to the front of that pack unless you want to do something with it, I would think. He has enough experience.
So do you think that Brandt can be an All-American in the 10K? Because if you do, he needs to back off
at this point and save for.
I don't know. Well, no, you got to.
At this point, you're committed. You've done all the hard running. You got to make sure you're on the plane.
Yeah,
to Eugene.
You're right.
I think what you do is you press, and then with the last lap, then you can maybe look around and make the decision. There's too many people in that chase pack, and you've committed too much to play games, not to finish the deal.
And he hasn't had a great race at NCAAs. He's never been inside the top 100 in cross country, and this will be his, if he makes it, this will be his first qualification on the track.
Yeah.
So and he looks good. I think he's going to.
I mean, that's a huge group chasing.
That's still 20 or 25.
But I don't think anybody's going to volunteer to try to bridge a gap to win a race where it doesn't matter if you're winning. And I think that's helping Brandt, and that's eliminating this field. You know, it's cutting the amount of possible qualifiers down by 1.
And guys have to be careful if they're going to sacrifice themselves and go. They can't shoot themselves in the foot and all of a sudden die because they surged.
Exactly.
So,
and you're surging for what purpose?
Right.
To catch somebody in a race where
12th place matters
as much as first.
Right.
So we're still at about 50 meters here, but that's Gilbert Boyd. of Arkansas, who's pushing now, and now we see that group really string out.
This is the first time, now they're getting after it.
Yeah. So the Linklater move was maybe a false alarm, but this looks like a serious committal. And behind Boyd is Baxter and Day.
And you know, we're 2K to go. I mean, now this is starting to make a little more sense. And the gap, it got wide in the last 400. Now in the last like 150 meters.
4 to go. So let's look at the lead is about 4 seconds at this point with Brandt, and you'll start to see both of them in your picture here.
So I think it may be closer to 6. A while, like 4 laps ago, it was 8. Mm-hmm. So it is narrowed for sure, and it's narrowed in the last minute and a half.
So that's a lapped runner behind Brandt there, and then you can see Boyd leading that chase pack with the NAU runners exactly where we expected them to be, Baxter and Day.
So see this break right here? I just counted 11 guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, no, maybe that's more like 13 or 14. So let's say there's about 15 in contention for 12 spots. You see the break there to Keelan. So he's hanging on by a thread. So there's, you know, maybe 15 in contention.
So Boyd is leading that group. Gilbert Boyd, the sophomore of Arkansas. And then the right side of your screen, you see Brandt of UCLA, who's led the entire way. He led when it was slow. He led when it was fast, 69.
69.5 on the last lap for the chase group. And if anything, the lead just might have grown a little bit.
What an effort here by Brandt.
Leads about 6 or 7 seconds.
If he pulls this, I mean, just based on seed times, he comes in right at the 12 mark there, but just to make that move that early on,
yep,
made things very interesting. And the chase pack is now, there's still about 15 in there. So it's going to come down, Kevin, to this last 800 meters.
You know, I've seen the results and maybe I've watched this race previously, and I know part of it's because I'm here and I'm talking about it. This is way better than I expected this race to be. You know, because there's no drama with 12, but there is, because it's going to be hard to get out of that group.
Yeah.
And people are really starting to drop off.
So 2 to go there. About 4 or 5 seconds there with the lead.
The pack ran a little bit faster there on 68 on that last lap.
Yeah. And this move is paying off for Brandt.
Yeah. And you don't usually see it like this. But we also don't watch races like this very often where 12 are qualifying.
So there's Day leading the chasers. There's, looks like 15 people there. More abouts. So if you think Brandt holds on the right side of your screen, then only 11 men on the left side of your screen will advance to the NCAA championships in Eugene.
We'll try to get you some names of who's going to qualify or who's in position at this point. We mentioned Day, and we've got Utah State and also
that's Baxter. See Linklater there going wide around a lapped runner.
And I think that Fisher is in there as well.
Levesse running well as well.
And the lead is shrinking. And Brandt is in trouble. Like, Brandt is in big time trouble here, Kevin. I mean, he's in major trouble with 2:50 to go. So we can go back to the full screen if we want, because Brandt is getting past. And we have a new leader right now, and Brandt is in 4th place. And
Baxter and then Tate, Day. And on the outside, that's Connor McMillan of BYU, Levesse of Portland in there. Brandt is sticking his nose in there. It's top 12 with 100 meters to go. Looks like this group is all going to be fine, but the race is on behind them. Maggard looks like he's safe. Linklater and Tate, they're racing each other to the line, but they're all fine to go through, and Brandt's going to get through in the most eventful way, and he crashes to the track.
And Brandt is, I mean, my heart was kind of in my shoe there for a second for Brandt when it was 2:50 to go, and they were coming like a freight train, but Brandt's going to be fine. So Linklater wins the race after doing some work early to try to bridge the gap. Maybe he made a good decision, Kevin, to just be patient. Maybe somebody yelled at him, be patient, be patient, be patient. So he takes the win, and Brandt is still trying to find his feet. And I think I need to go give him a drink, give him a Gatorade or something. I mean, the guy put in a tremendous effort.
Yeah, he earned that one.
Oh, my goodness.
He earned that spot. We're going to sort it out. I mean, Mcmillan is through too, so BYU get the top 2 spots. Welch of Portland is in, finishing 3rd. Yeah, actually, I don't want to announce these quite yet just because those don't look to match up with what we saw. Because I feel like Tate was the second man across the line with Linklater. We'll just wait. With so many people getting lapped and so many making a late push, I want to make sure these are official because we're talking about NCAA bids that are on the line.
Yeah, we can wait here for a second. And we got to give credit to UCLA. They got a qualifier to the NCAA meet, and it took 2 of them to do it. And the way that Brandt responded, because he very easily could have cashed it in, right? I mean, that was somewhat disheartening to have that happen, but he hung on.
It's like a Tour de France situation where you have a leader the whole way, and then just at the very end they get caught. So we're still waiting on these official results. When they happen, we will let you know. So those are what we have right now, but as I mentioned before, I mean, I know Mike Tate was in there with Linklater as they went across the line. It was those 2 that were going across.
Just be patient with us on the results. We appreciate that. It looks like Tate ended up 2nd, Mcmillan 3rd.
And you got a whole bunch of guys staring at the scoreboard. That's what they're all standing around looking for, just to make sure.
You can see results here. Mance.
So Levesque gets through 11th. I just want to see the gap between 12 and 13 because it was hard to sort out there over the last 200.
And results.
We're waiting on the results, like you all are at home, and the runners are there, still waiting, checking at the scoreboard. I think some are through. So Levesque there, 12th. It looks like they had him listed as 11th, then down to 12th. It looked like there was about a 4-second gap between 12th and 13th.
In the stadium, the results are on the scoreboard, but adjustments continue to be made to the results. So as they're flashing on the screen, just hang with us. This first page has not changed because there were some adjustments moments ago, and this appears to be correct, what you're seeing now.
As they cycle through, keep pressing refresh here. So for sure, Day, Linklater, Baxter, Maggard, all through. And obviously Brandt as well too from UCLA. He finished 8th. And then Grant Fisher of Colorado State, Connor Mansa, BYU, and then Emmanuel Rudolph Levesque.
And it appears to be a very non-dramatic 4-second gap between 12th and 13th.
Right.
I mean, we thought it was going to be about a quarter of a second.
Well, I think what happened was once there was still 15 or so in contention. I think once that last final acceleration happened is where you saw a little bit of a break there. So I'm still refreshing the official results page.
And we'll get the graphic up for you with the complete list of qualifiers momentarily, as we have done for the other events. So the women are getting close to the start line here. And you can see our qualifiers here flashing through. These results appear to be a little more solidified than they were 2-3 minutes ago. So you're seeing our qualifiers, and you're seeing what appears to be complete results now, almost or nearly complete. Almost all times are assigned here. So your qualifiers: Linkletter, Tate, Mcmillan, Welch, Baxter, Day, Maggart, Brandt, Young, Fisher, Mance.
And then Rudolph
Ledesse, and then
there was he was 12th.
He was 12th.
And then there was that 4-second gap to 13th place.
Next race on the track, women's 10,000.
That's how we'll close out the night. Same ordeal. Top 12. We'll see if it's much of a
48
dramatic finish. Yeah. We'll see if there's someone who's going to take the pace.
We have the great fortune of watching Carissa Schweitzer, the top distance runner in the NCAA, toe the line here, the senior for Missouri, the indoor and outdoor national champion at 5K, the cross-country champion, Alice Wright, two-time runner-up at this distance from New Mexico, last 2 years, runner-up in the 10K. Sharon Ledecky from the junior from Kansas. She's the Big 12 champion. She was third in this event a year ago at in the NCAA. Samantha Nadell from Oregon, 21st in cross country.